All right, everybody, welcome back here to Versus Live. I'm Corey Baumeister. That's Ross Merriam. We are playing our third set here. We just got done with Modern. We played a little Legacy before, and now we're on to Standard here. And
the C seat.
Yes.
Where you put all the worst players.
Exactly. That's why I'm there, buddy. Me and you. Let's do this. So, from what I understand, this is basically the list you're going to play, right?
Yeah, it's going to look. This is where my list currently is. There's a card or two that I'm still working out that I'm not sold on, but I'll be playing. Yeah, I'd say minimum 72 of the 75.
Well, I'm taking a peek at your sideboard right now, and you got this spicy tech. Where on earth did you hear that from?
You know, I saw a tweet from John Rossum actually.
Yeah.
And he had God Eternal Ketra in his sideboard. I was like, that is really smart. Jonathan Rossum's a good Magic player.
He's good.
I tried it out, and I've drawn it exactly once.
Yeah.
And I won a game I had no business winning solely on the back of a God Eternal Ketra. So yeah, props to John Rossum because he's definitely the person who figured that out.
Yeah, smart man. So we are going to be playing your vampire list versus Jeskai Planeswalkers here.
Yeah, this is
Brian Gottlieb.
You talked about on Tuesday on the show, said that you think it's really underrated.
Yep.
Really well positioned. We got a list from Brian Gottlieb.
Yep.
And we're going to put it to the test.
We're going to give it a shot. I think it's very strong right now. I think it has a pretty positive matchup against Vampire and Scapeshift, but
that's a good place to be.
Yeah, but when I'm saying a positive matchup against Vampires, it might be like 51 to 49% or something. Like, it's so hard to hate out Vampires, but Deafening Clarion and Wrath of Gods and Baffling Ends do their best job.
Yeah,
so.
I did lose this matchup earlier this week in testing, and like the one time I played against it, and it was tough. They got a lot of good tools.
Yep. No, I mean, I think it has at least a good chance to do so. Don't forget to tag SCG Tour if you want some of your questions answered. We're going to answer them in between our rounds, but should we just get it going to the Gods format here?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So I'll be on the play because I've been getting rocked today.
Yep. We got Dan in the booth over there. Say hey, everybody, Dan.
Nice try. Took me a second. Hey, Dad, how y'all doing?
Something is different here.
You almost got him. Okay.
One day, Daniel.
If we take a peek at my hand here, it is a little iffy, but we're on the play, and there's a lot of great draws that we can have. So I'm going to keep this.
My hand is quite solid. I'm going to keep.
I'll pass to you.
Got one small issue, and we got plenty of time to solve that issue.
Okay.
I'm going to lead on Sky Marcher Aspirant.
You got it.
You're up.
That was a pretty solid draw. Nothing too exciting for us here. We're just going to play a Foundry and say go.
I will mush for 2.
Mushing. 18.
Play a Swamp and Adonto Vanguard.
The Vanguard, okay.
You're up.
Okay.
Nice little opening from the Vampire side.
Yep. Adonto Vanguard is a house in this matchup. It's something I just always have to answer as soon as possible. Then we'll go Foundry and pass it back.
And, man. Had 3 draw steps there to solve. Attack for 2.
Okay.
Play Vicious Conquistador.
So vicious.
16, you're up.
Okay.
This is a card that is not particularly good in this matchup because it's not good at attacking Planeswalkers.
Yeah. All right. So we're gonna do both modes, lifelink and deal 3 to each creature. Okay. It is a very important thing. I need to stop because this is a very important lesson. If you ever have the option to just deal 3 damage, you pick lifelink too. Even no creatures, it doesn't matter. It's always correct.
Okay. Well,
60% of the time, it's correct every time. Ooh.
You're up.
All right. So we are going to go with a Narset. You can't draw any extra cards, okay? So we're going to look at the top 4 here. Oh, baby. Well, we got 2 great options here. If we take a peek, it won't be these. And I actually don't know which one we truly want here. I think we just want to be proactive here and pick this. We'll go with Sarkhan.
Good call.
Not bad. And then I'll play a tap land, and I'll ship it to you.
Okay, so that's a solid draw here. I'm going to get my 4th land and play a Sanctum Seeker.
Pretty strong.
I'm going to attack the Narset so that if Corey wants to -2 again, he'll lose it. We have 2 triggers here, so you lose 2, I gain 1.
Yep, I'm at 14, you're at 21?
Yep.
Okay.
Pass the turn.
All right, so we are going to use it. That was kind of the main reason that I played Narset into his creature, just because I'd still get 2 activations. Very important to dig through time whenever you can. Okay, so this is pretty good.
It's more like wading through time.
Yeah.
Going real slowly over 2 turns.
So we got options here. Now, if we take a peek here, I think it's got to be this. This card is just insanely powerful. But this card is also pretty strong right now and pairs pretty well with our hand. But I think it'd just be crazy to not pick the powerful card.
That's a good one.
That is a good one. All right, so now we are going to go with the Sarkhan here. Our Chandra doesn't clean up everything yet, so I'm not really all about that.
So you gain a life.
Yep, we'll gain a life.
15.
We are going to go down to 2 here, get a dragon, get a Patrick Sullivan, and pass it to you.
Okay, well, I do have the answer to this dragon, so let's get that out of the way.
Okay.
See your hand. Unsurprisingly, another Sarkhan.
Yep.
I am going to deal with the first one, so we'll send the Sanctum Seeker there, the Conquistador you.
So
you're
I take
gonna
a total of 3.
And I gain 2.
12 to 23.
Yep, and I'm going to play a swamp and pass the turn.
Okay. All right. Now, it was the best play last turn, and not a ton has changed here. You know, actually, this is pretty decent right now. 3, 4, 5, 6. We are going to, just because if there is another Legion's End, this is quite the problem. I'm going to gain 2.
You're at 14.
Yep. And then I'm going to -4 on this.
Yeah, that's a pretty good line.
Yep. Your turn.
Would love a Legion Lieutenant here.
Yeah. Or even a Sorin, you know, it's pretty solid. Anything to be able to deal with Chandra.
Yeah.
Before I start giving you those beautiful emblems.
Fortunately, I kept the 3-lander eating a black source for Sanctum Seeker, and I was a turn off drawing them. But I've hit the 5th land now, so I can champion at least.
Okay. Yep.
That'll draw 2, bring me to 21.
Yep. I'm cool with that, just taking a turn off from being able to kill my Chandra here.
And then we will send the Conquistador at Chandra. You lose a life, go to 13.
13, yep.
And then I'll pass the turn.
All right. I'm going to go with an end step opt. Yeah, I think that's a keeper.
That's not good.
We'll untap here. We'll give you an emblem. I'll generously give you an emblem, buddy.
And Sanctum Seeker should be exiled, Ross.
Is that what Chandra does?
That's what Chandra does.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Definitely not relevant because that's never being run back, but that is definitely how the card works.
Yeah.
So now I can go for a Sarkhan that Ross knows about. Or I can just make sure I maintain the board here, and I think that's more important. We're just going to Wrath of God.
Yeah, that is quite good.
Your turn. Ping!
Yeah, I'm at 20.
All right.
I will. So we know the 2 cards in your hand.
Yep.
Which means I definitely want to get this down, and I think I want to get the Legion's Landing down.
Okay.
So we'll get a token and then pass the turn.
Okay. Now we have a phenomenal turn this turn. We're going to Deafening Clarion here, both modes.
Yep.
Okay, and then we'll -1 on this. And now that lifelink mode actually might come into play. So I'll gain 2.
You're at 15.
Yep. Now it's the question of, do I want to make a dragon or just attack here? And let's do the math. If I attack for 4 and then next turn attack for 8 plus 2 triggers, that is 14 damage. So it's not a lethal attack yet. So I think with that being the case, I'm just going to make a dragon.
Yep.
All right. Your turn. Patrick Sullivan's back. Actually, we're going to play this.
Okay, well, we need to get something going pretty quickly. I've got a 19 on my upkeep, I'm sorry.
Okay, yep.
So let's play Vicious Conquistador and then a second champion, and we'll draw 2, so I'm at 17.
17.
And then I will pass the turn.
All right. So now you do got a board presence here, so I do need to top deck something here. We'll tick up. We'll get in there for 12.
I go to 5.
Shoot a 5. Give you another emblem. And
I think I'm pretty dead here, regardless of what I draw.
yeah, I'm gonna go like that. And this actually is not a legend. This is not the correct token just for the fact that it doesn't make legendary ones. Yeah.
So you go to 17.
Yeah, I'll go to 17. I'll make another Patrick Sullivan here and then pass to you.
That actually gives me a shot.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, if I draw Legion's End, because I have the Lieutenant, and that'll let me attack both Planeswalkers, so I need a Legion's End here. I'm going to go to 3.
Yep, you go to 3.
Legion's End plays.
No!
What does that do? Don't think that does enough.
Got a Sorin?
Yeah, I drew a Sorin. I don't think that does enough. So I can just attack normally, try to get both Planeswalkers, but you would just block here, save the Sarkhan, and then I can throw this and kill the dragon, and then I'm at 6, and you have 8, plus this 2 on my upkeep. Alternatively, I can plus on the champion.
5.
And attack both. It'll be 6. You'll block here, save the Sarkhan. I'll gain 6, go to 9, but then you'll have 12 plus 2. Yeah, nothing I do.
Okay. And don't forget the 2 damage that would be dealt from Sarkhan would have a little bit of effect where I could still trade with champion if I wanted to.
Oh, yeah.
Stuff like that. But
no, because you... Oh, yeah, because that's the...
that's the
static,
passive.
yeah.
Yep. Or that's the static. Yep. All right.
Okay.
Awesome static.
Yeah, I was... If I had hit
everyone forgets about that one.
Nice one's idiot.
Yeah.
If I'd hit land 4 and land 5 on curve, I would have been in so much better shape. But I ended up just being off by a little. Yeah.
Yep. No, but the deck on the play, being able to, I think the key there is the fact that I got 2 Narset activations. Being able to activate that a second time against aggro is just so good. Yeah. Narset is almost a better 6-drop just because you play it and then like Clarion or something to clean up the board, so you can guarantee that you get to activate it a second time.
Also, the Baffling End early for the Vanguard.
Yeah, it's very important because notoriously, Jeskai colors have always been super weak to Adanto Vanguard. Like, you have to be bringing in, like, Ixalan's Binding, just maxing on Baffling Ends, which Brian Gottlieb did, and he just added more into the main with his updated list. So, like, I loved everything about it. That's why I was like, okay, I'll be playing this for a while.
Yeah, Clarion and Shock cover so much.
Yeah,
and especially along with Chandra too. The Baffling End, I think, is quite nice,
yeah,
especially because
need it.
The big creatures that you're handling in the format are like Hydra, Krasis, Voracious Hydra.
Yep.
Baffling End handle slows too.
Mm-hmm. Baffling End is unreal right now. Yep, it's very good. The only thing, it's just like a dead card against Scapeshift, but this deck's weak matchup is Scapeshift, which scares me because it's Scapeshift and Nexus. You just kind of can't win. Like, it's really bad, but yeah.
Okay, so from King of Limbs 449. I've liked Ashiok and the Vampires for the Scapeshift matchup. Was that ever a consideration for your sideboard?
Not for me.
Yeah, you had something to say about this the other day. I did consider it as well, but the issue is that it doesn't really advance your own game plan, and all it does is stop, the Scapeshift itself. It's rare that when you have like one, if you land at turn 3, you can stop Circuitous Route, which is nice. But if it's something that comes later in the game, all it's doing is stopping that one card. They still have, sweepers and natural Field of the Dead with Elvish Rejuvenator, things like that. So I think its application is quite narrow, and it needs to be more, even in that specific matchup. And so having a slot that's only for one matchup and is only good in certain scenarios in that matchup ended up just not being powerful enough.
Yeah, and I mean, if you get it down early and you can stop Circuitous Route, like, that's insane. Yeah. But there's so many times where you can get like 1 or 2 value zombies, and the Vampire deck doesn't want to just not attack to protect Ashiok. And then eventually, they time wipe you. They gain so much more value. If Vampires is holding back against Scapeshift, you're ecstatic because eventually you have time to draw into Krasis for 5, Krasis for 6, and it's just not the type of game plan I like to play, even though I have won games off it. So very good question, and I think it's close, like you said, but I don't think it's good enough. Maybe a 1 of, but that's
it would be max a 1 of, but it wasn't consistently powerful enough.
But when it wins you the game, it feels excellent.
Yeah, it's definitely a card with that kind of upside, which is why it's a consideration.
Yep.
Okay, another solid hand on my side here for game 2. I got a nice little opening curve.
I like mine too.
And
Mine
good
hand's
mana.
pretty nice.
Let's lead on an aspirin again.
Alrighty. So now, do I want to take some damage? This is actually a tough decision here. I don't know if it's really a point in me playing this right now because essentially I don't know what I want. So if I don't know what I want at the moment, I think I am just going to go like this and say go.
Save some damage rather than opting.
Exactly.
Well, let's mush you for 2.
All right, 18.
Isolated Chapel, Adonto Vanguard.
I love it. It's my favorite card. You get to meet its friend. Boop. Your turn. Boop, boop, boop.
Let's. I don't think this hand can really afford to play around Clarion next turn because of the way I'm situated. So I'm just gonna jam. I'm gonna shock myself to 18.
Okay.
Play Lieutenant, Legion's Landing, and attack for 3.
All right, I will go to 15.
You can go.
Then I will go to 13, and I will choose both modes.
Yep.
Your turn. Yeah, I agree with you. You just can't play around it all the time, or you give me enough time to just snowball Planeswalkers. So,
Okay. Night.
all right, done.
Yeah.
All right, and from this point, the game, becomes. I don't want to say trivial because it's definitely not over, but I have quite the advantage here. Oops, I tapped that wrong.
You gain 1, go to 14.
Yep, your turn. The Interstellar Beacon is just insane in the aggro matchups. You don't realize how much life it truly gains you. And now that's a problem.
Yeah. Solid draw, second Vanguard here.
Yep.
Hopefully we can get that one going.
Yep, I love Vanguard. It's my favorite card to play against. It's just, I just love it. It's so fun. Okay, I was being sarcastic.
Maybe I should have put a counter on this thing. I probably should have. Let's imagine I paid 4 life on my turn. I'm at 14.
Okay.
Get a counter here. Protects it from shock. I guess you left up shock, but
Yeah, it's a little risky, but that's all right.
I just want to get it out of Clarion range quickly.
Sure. I'm going to take 2, but gain 1.
So you're at 13. This
Yeah.
also gets the knight up to range where it could have attacked this, and maybe
Yeah.
the Vanguard goes to you.
I'll pass to you. And now we're a little scared. Adonto's good. We definitely have cards we're afraid of here. It's a big turn.
I will just attack this. This is an interesting spot where
It really is, yeah.
So normally you'd want to send both at one Planeswalker to stop it, but that makes Corey's play really easy. He just blocks the Vanguard, makes me pay 4 life.
Exactly.
And here I want to make it difficult on him. I actually think I split them.
Okay.
And the one I care about more is Sarkhan. So I'm going to send the Knight at Sarkhan and the Vanguard at Teferi. That way, if he wants to get his block on Vanguard, I get the Sarkhan down. And if he wants to block here, I'll get the Teferi and the Dragon.
Okay. Triggers.
Pay 4 life.
Okay. Should have 10.
Yep.
All right. Now, what do I care about more? I care about saving Sarkhan more, and I would like you to waste your turn pumping, so we're content with that.
Yeah, I will indeed activate the Knight.
6. Okay, yeah, and it's
Yeah.
1 short of actually killing it with the ping, so, yep, these die.
And then I lost 4 life, so this will get a counter on end step.
Perfect.
Now Clarion doesn't kill anything, and I'll pass the
All
turn.
right.
My life total is a bit under duress to this Sarkhan, but if I can deal with it next turn, I should be in good shape.
Well, we're definitely going to tick up and hit you.
I go to 6.
Okay. Now, if we take a look at my hand, I got options. I got plenty of options here. I think I'm definitely playing this. This card is absolutely phenomenal right now. Yeah, we're going to start with that. Teferi, gain a life.
You're at 14.
Yep. Now, what do I want to bounce is the real question. I want to bounce Knight because it...
You can get to reset it. That's nice.
Yeah, but it's cheaper. Yeah, we'll just bounce Knight. And then Narset, gain a life.
brings you to 15.
15, yep. We know some planeswalkers are going to die this time, but we're just trying to say, hey, I'm going to have some live. All right, we'll take a shock, and then it's your turn. And I think you have one choice of which one to kill.
Yeah, definitely need to deal with the Sarkhan this turn.
Yep.
I am going to play a Sanctum Seeker.
Yeah, Sarkhan may be masterless, but you'd be lifeless if...
Let's attack the Sarkhan, trigger the Seeker.
Okay.
So I go to 7, you go to 14.
7 to 14, correct.
And then I'll pass the turn.
All right, so now we just got the value planeswalkers left. All right, so we're going to start with this.
Smart.
All right, Sarkhan the Masterless, and that's game. Fly over.
Yeah. Not a ton I was going to be able to do there.
Yeah, I had this as a plan B. I was going to first nuke, you would have paid 3, and then I shocked this. And then, you're forced to go Chandra again.
Yeah.
And then we just go off to the races. I'm looking at the top of my deck, but...
Yeah, nothing I can do there really helps me out.
Yep.
Just the start of Baffling End for your Vanguard into Clarion.
Yeah. No, Baffling Hand is
handle.
just insane. And, I think this is the main reason to play the deck. Is like, I do think the Vampires matchup is pretty good. Of course, the Sorin champion draws, it just doesn't matter what I'm doing. You're still going to win.
Yeah.
So it's definitely close.
Okay, well, let's get some sideboarding done.
Yes.
We're going to take a break, and hopefully I can, win some games. Maybe I'll get 3 in a row and get the clean sweep.
Yeah.
Or maybe Corey will salvage a little bit of dignity.
A little bit of pride,
in
yeah.
This team-constructed match, but don't go anywhere. We'll be back with sideboarding between Orzhov Vampires and Jeskai Super Friends in just a moment. And we're back here with sideboarding for Orzhov Vampires against Jeskai Planeswalkers, the finale of our team constructed match here, leading into SCG Richmond.
Yeah.
On my side, we're making some pretty big changes. Our main deck removal is pretty bad, so that's all getting cut. We were going to bring in some Devout Decrees. Not a ton of targets here. It's mainly Sarkhan, Chandra, and Sarkhan tokens.
Yep.
This would be a lot better if you were still on the Saheeli plan that
Sure.
some of these lists used to be on, because that would give this another target. But
Which,
I think,
for the record, I think Saheeli might be better. I'm not a firm believer in this card yet, and it makes Karn a lot worse. But yeah, anyways, continue.
So but it's still worthwhile. Those cards are all really high value targets, especially the Dragon token like that. That 4/4 can really brickwall me. Our Duresses are great. Our Gideons are great. This is another threat we
Gideon's
can extend
insane.
that doesn't die to any of the removal there. Doesn't die Baffling End, Clarion, or Shock. It'll just be binding.
Yeah, I'll just cry when you play that. Yeah.
And then our worst creature is going to be Conquistador. We want to cut some 1-drops because you don't want to be forced to flood the battlefield.
Yeah,
and
you don't want to overextend into my wraths.
And this is the worst creature we have at attacking Planeswalkers.
Yep,
So it's the
yep.
creature that gets cut. A nice little 9-for-9 swap.
Yeah, perfect. So what I'm doing over here is I'm just bringing in a bunch of white cards that deal with your troublesome cards, settle for the huge blowout, and obviously in our open format that we're doing on Versus Live, it's a lot worse of a card. But people that aren't expecting it, it's great, even though Duress is always going to be coming in, so it does make this card a lot worse, but they have to have it, they have to draw it, they have to not, walk into it. So I think it's still pretty good. It's also just a card nobody sees coming anymore. Like, it's a card from so long ago, but it's still good. It's still powerful. I could see even more like Devote Decrees for this matchup, just making it better, and not as, weak to Duress, because, if we learned anything from the last format of Red Black Aggro versus Blue White, you just, every time you hold that Duress until you're about to attack for lethal, you say Duress, and they're like, you got me, good game.
Yep.
And then moving to the cards I'm taking out Planeswalkers because, well, that's like 80% of my deck, so I have to choose some. Mulang, I'm probably saying that Mu Yingling, right? It's just advertising the beer in Roanoke.
Mu Yanling.
Okay, Mu Yanling. I'm taking this out because on the draw, if you ever just go like creature into creature and I just negative one of them and you just attack it, it feels so bad. Kind of the same for Karn. Karn is pretty slow, and without Saheeli not being able to make giant colorless Thopters in this matchup, it's just not great. So if I had Saheeli, I would definitely probably keep in 1 because Planeswalker diversity in this deck is insanely important. And that's why I'm only taking out 1 of each of these. Teferi's kind of bad, and Narset's actually really bad against vampires, but you really need Narset to keep your engines going in this deck. It's a lot different than Esper, where you just can always have your engine going. This is the Narset is one of the most important cards in this deck.
Yeah.
Because the thing about Narset that is different than any other deck is Narset finds your creatures. The planeswalkers that turn into creatures, it still finds those. It finds your creatures or removal. So it's really just look at the top 4 and pick your best card all the time, unless, you get really unlucky and hit lands or whatever. But
Which hopefully you do.
I did hit 3 lands and then Sarkin on that last game. My first 3 were lands, but
3 bricks and then best possible.
all right. We got any questions over there while we're shuffling up?
We do. From SBS 0311, Corey. You already touched on how much you are concerned about Muyan Ling.
Yeah.
Dovin from War of the Spark, to them seems like a better stall card, and it taxes as well.
So that is the -2. You put a Thopter, you gain a life.
No, this is different Dovin. This is they make their spells they're not creature spells cost 1 more, -1 to just
Let me pull them up.
fog.
Sure. Yep. I know what you're talking about now.
Permanent.
That's reasonable as well, but you fall into the same traps that Mu Yingling Mu Yanling falls into as well. That if they have 2 creatures, it's still not doing the thing you want it to. I could see it as a one of, but I honestly think I like cutting this card for 1 Saheeli or 2 Saheelis, but a Saheeli and a Dovin seems fine because, like I said, Planeswalker diversity is the name of the game. Like, there's not a lot of Elder spells running around anymore, so you don't get punished by just saying, here's my Planeswalker zone over here with 15 dice. Like, you just go off and you win those games when you have a bunch of them.
That's true. Not a lot of Elder spells.
Yeah, but no, I like that. That's a great suggestion.
Card we had seen in main decks.
Yeah,
artifact, instant, and sorcery spell, so it probably won't do a lot against Ross in this match.
Yeah, it'd be bad in this matchup for sure. But Saheeli's also not great. I think just that slot, no matter what, is not good unless I add like a 4th Baffling End to the main. That's the only thing that would make this matchup better.
Okay, I am going to keep this hand.
I'm going to keep 2. It has some problems, which are pretty obvious. I don't want to say for the integrity of the game, but if we take a peek, it's pretty obvious what's going wrong, but this is fine.
Okay, I am going to lead on a duress.
Okay, you're going to find out now. We don't have Planeswalkers. We just have a lot of reactive spells, and shot can be a little narrow, but it's sometimes just what you need.
I am going to take the Ixalan's Binding.
Already.
Pass the turn.
All right, and we don't need to leave shock up. We don't have a ton to do with our mana. We're not too afraid yet.
And my plan here is to clear the way for an Adonto Vanguard. Hopefully no baffling ends over there.
Smart. Okay, we'll say go. Now we got a lot of shocks that do a lot of nothing.
I will attack for 3.
All right, I will be to 17.
I will play another Adonto Vanguard.
Oh God.
You can go. I didn't have the second when I duressed. I was kind of wish I had taken the settle now.
Sure. Yeah, I mean the settle is going to be a bit of a brick wall here. Your turn.
Sneak in a deputy of detention.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that'd be
Mash
good.
for 6.
I'll take it. 11.
11. Yeah, I figured I'd be able to more easily play around the settle, but the way this game is played out, I'm very much regretting this. So we'll get a token with our Legion's Landing and pass.
I'll shock that.
Play the 1 from your hand instead of the 2 I know about.
Oh yeah, that was bad. All right, now here's the problem here we run into. We want to progress our game plan here, but we also want to hold up settle. If we look at our other 2 cards, it's pretty interesting what we do here. I think we can go to 5. And eventually, this game isn't a game we win. Eventually, you draw one of your other duresses, and I lose. So we're actually going to draw in from Dreams here.
Okay.
All right, so top 7. 6, 7.
Now we're digging through time.
We are digging. All right, so I think I want this, or I think I need this better yet. Or we just go like this. God, this is a lot of good cards. A lot of good cards.
Well, you only get 2 of them.
I know, that makes it harder.
Make them count.
Well, I think we're going to pick this one. Wow. Not easy. Not easy. We're going to pick... Yeah, we're going to pick this here. Okay. And the rest on the bottom in random order. Okay. Your turn.
Okay. Washa. Mushy for 6.
I'll go to 5.
I'll play a tapped Godless Shrine and pass the turn.
All right. All right, you got my hand?
Yeah.
All right.
Not a lot going on my side.
You got enough. Okay, now we get to the point where we're just kind of having to hold back. I mean, we do have one other play we can make right now, but it's pretty scary. I don't want to go to Sorin range, so we're just gonna pass. We're gonna hold up the obvious settle here.
I will attack with a 1.
I will settle.
Okay.
I just want to get use of it while I can.
I'm going to play another Vanguard. After
That's not great.
land. I was going to do nothing, but then I drew another Vanguard. I was like, okay, now I can bait with 1.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
I don't think it matters which one I get because my mana is great, but let's get a swamp.
Okay.
You're up.
Then we're going to untap. That's okay. Think we just have to do this, and I regret not doing this last turn now. Binding.
Yep.
And then we'll pass to you.
You have 4 cards in hand?
Yep.
2 of them are shocks.
Which is not great.
Agreed. That is not great. I will mush you for 3.
I will take it.
You're 2.
2.
I will play Champion of Dusk.
I will respond with double shocking.
Do that with the trigger on the stack,
Yep.
so I'll only draw 1 card now. I go to 19.
Yep.
You're 2. Pass the turn.
All right.
Teferi here would be quite good.
Yeah, unfortunately, we just have this. We're going to gain 1, go to 3. 3 is not 4. I'll make a token unless they go.
I have the Devout Decree for the token.
Yep, you got it. You got it. That's what I was afraid of. He just wasn't playing enough cards, so he had to have removal. Otherwise, what was in your hand, you know?
I had 2 Devout Decrees.
Yep.
And another champion.
That's what I figured. Yeah, I really was looking for a Teferi there. Would have been excellent because it's bounced and then you can never play it.
Yeah.
But just being at 3 and, just being within Sorin range there, the chances of me winning are just very low anyways.
Well, you do have the beacon, though, so you're going to get out of that range.
You can gain out of it. Yeah, that's absolutely true.
Yeah, but you're right to say that beacon is such a huge part of that deck.
Yep. Now on the play, though, I changed my mind about a few cards. Play and draw in this deck is actually very important. I'm actually going to side a little differently. Shock becomes a lot worse because I have other Planeswalkers that can do my job, and they're a little narrow. So I like to take out a couple of those on the play, but keep them on the draw just because I can get tempoed out so fast,
Yeah.
So like Teferi on the play is just excellent because if you can ever just bounce and have an empty board, it's just what you want to be doing. What do we want to take out here?
Not a card you would think to bring out in this matchup is Shock, but
Yeah.
you have Clarion, like you get to clear them up on turn 3, and like
Yep.
your other removal is a little bit more important. So
Exactly.
I can
And
see it.
you tend to, go towards the plan of trying to slow down and go bigger against me, taking out your conquistadors and, bringing in duresses and stuff like that. So you're a slower deck post board, and so I don't need to keep you at bay as much. So Shock loses some value. But on the draw, sometimes you just have to have it.
Yep.
All right, so I'm on the play.
Yeah. Tagging those like turn 1 knights into Vanguard
Yeah,
is
and
really important.
that's great, but all right, we'll keep. It's got a couple problems as well, but not bad.
Another hand with a solid mix of stuff.
All right, your
Not going to
turn.
be as fast unless we rip a 1-drop here, and we did not. But
Okay.
I've got a swamp and a pass.
All right, swamp pass. I got a land and a pass as well.
Okay. I have a Danto Vanguard.
My
Like I
friend.
have turn 2 every game. Because I'm great. But now we see the problem of not having. Okay. Baffling ended.
Your turn.
I'm happier with that, I think, than Teferi.
Yeah, no kidding. Having to commit more to that is not great.
Yeah, especially because I just ripped another one.
All right.
You're up.
So that's great. That's a good thing. But our hand is pretty good right now. I think I'm just going to. This is close because I can definitely just play this right now. If we look at my hand and just really just try to control the game as much as we can, it's probably safer. We'll get that out of there. Your turn.
That one's actually under it.
Top deck that third one.
I'm not quite that lucky.
All right. Yeah.
I will play a Sanctum Seeker.
Sure.
And then pass the turn.
All right. So that's a great card. It's definitely a problem to deal with sometimes.
Yeah.
We're going to go with the Drawn from Dreams.
Okay.
5, 6, 7. We'll pick these 2 cards. Pretty obvious based on our hand. Put these at the bottom. I think I have a land. Go.
You know, drawing 2 cards seems pretty cool, so I think I'll do it myself.
Smart.
Let's play a champion. I go to 18.
Yep.
Draw 2, and then I'll attack you and trigger the Seeker.
So I go to 16. Yep.
And I'm at 19.
Okay.
Pass the turn.
Okay.
Then we are gearing up for a nice long one.
Yeah, this is Yeah, our hand's a little awkward here. Our hand is a tight bit awkward. I think we're going to start with a Teferi here, gain a life.
17.
And we'll bounce Sanctum Seeker. I don't want to bounce Champion because I don't want you to be able to draw more Magic cards. And then we're going to also play Narset. Down tick on that. I'll go to 18.
Yep.
1, 2, 3, 4. Your turn.
That is a coup on my part.
Yeah, that was lovely.
And let's get our Sanctum Seeker back down, I think.
Okay.
It's the most efficient use of our mana. I definitely want to deal with the Narset, so let's attack that one. Trigger. I go to 20, you go to 17.
All right.
And then
you're at 20, I'm at
I also
17.
have a Legion's Landing. Let's
Not
get
bad.
some Andrew Ellenbogen over here.
Not bad at all.
And pass the turn.
All right.
I got my 3 creatures ready to transform.
Yeah, 3 creatures is unpleasant here. We're going to uptick.
And a Clarion only deals with 1 of them, which is nice.
That is true. Pass to you.
So we have a Settle the Wreckage.
I wouldn't do that to you.
Okay, I will play a Sorin Imperious Bloodlord.
Sorin, yep. Love it.
I will plus Sorin, put a counter on the vampire token.
Yep.
Is that where I want to put it? Yeah. Then I will play a Legion Lieutenant,
Yep.
and I will...
I'm going to stop you at beginning of combat.
Sure.
Cleansing Nova? I'll choose creatures.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Got him. Not bad, huh? Not bad. Cleansing Nova. No, you never remember both, you know, Clarion or Nova.
You're up.
All right, we're going to untap here. Now we're going to tick up. We're going to Sarkin. We're going to tick this up and attack Sorin. And your turn. I did that just because I want to stop any champion kind of draws.
I will play Knight.
Yep.
I will plus put a counter on them. Actually, ooh.
Hey, good fling.
Do I want to fling?
That's interesting.
I probably do. Yeah, I'm going to plus to fling.
Okay. Yep.
I'm going to send this at the Teferi. I gain 3. 23.
Okay.
And then I will play a Gideon Blackblade.
Okay.
I will plus that with no target. Go to 5. You're
Okay.
up.
All right. That's not a devote decree. The decree is really what I didn't want to just get, just kind of get it all here. Let's see here. We got some good cards. Do we want to just get this down, get the dragon down, or do we want to just kill Sorin is kind of the question. I think I care more about just killing Sorin here.
Sorin down.
All right, and then I'll pass it to you. Not much we can do about Gideon. Gideon is just a very resilient card from this side. Similar to Adanto Vanguard. But takes a couple of hits to kill Sarkin.
Or a single Devout Decree.
Or a single Devout Decree. Yep.
Scry 1. That card seems not good because it's under binding. So
Yeah.
let's put
Hey,
that one
come
on the
on,
bottom.
keep that.
I will play another Legion's Landing.
Okay.
I will plus this. I don't know. It doesn't matter. Give it
Sure.
lifelink again. And attack you for 4.
One few ways I have to actually deal with
Yeah.
that card, and I just want to get it out of my hand as soon as possible, just because Duress gets it pretty good, and Gideon is good.
Go planes, and you are up.
All right. Now, something like Narset is just what... Oh, my God. Something like Narset is just what the doctor ordered. I'll gain a life.
18.
Okay. Now, maybe we can hit this time. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Now we're doing things. Now the real question is which card we like better, because they're both great. I think this card is pretty tough to deal with right now. All right. So we'll play this. We'll tick up on Andrew Ellenbogen.
Yep.
And then we'll pass to you. That was a nice draw. That was a nice draw. Blue Planeswalkers are pretty tough for you, huh? Ross is blue, I'm a D-bop down, and I'm a D.
So I've got another Sorin that was going to deal with this
Ooh.
Narset, but the Muon Ling is quite good.
Good as well,
The
yeah.
4/4 I have a really tough time dealing with.
We got a Planeswalker fight over here, chat. Planeswalkers fighting each other.
I don't really know how I win this game.
I think step 1 is throwing.
Yeah, we're definitely throwing this somewhere.
Yeah.
I think I probably just have to throw it
I
here.
think you have to.
I don't have any more pressure on the Muon Ling, so it's probably going to make a token later anyway. I go to 26.
26, yep.
Play a planes and pass.
Okay. So now I can't really Muyang Ling if I don't have an answer to Sorin, but luckily I do. I will scry. We don't want to land. We are past that phase. We'll make a 4/4 elemental bird. That would be impressive if we have this. All
do.
right.
Throwing your life pads everywhere, covering up our bevy of tokens.
You know it. Okay, and then I'll pass to you. Donto Vanguard off the top.
Legion's Landing.
That's just as good, right?
Sorin.
Oh my god, okay, that actually is good.
It's not that good.
Yeah,
Let's,
still.
Deal with this Muon Ling.
Yep.
I'll go to 20 million.
Yeah.
29.
29. Well, you were at like what, 68 in a testing game of Legacy earlier,
Yeah.
so you're not quite that high. All right, we'll attack Sorin.
Goes to 1. Yeah,
Go.
this 4/4 I think is going to be unbeatable.
You can decree. Oh,
So play Legion Lieutenant.
okay,
Get a counter on it.
sure.
You're up.
All right, we'll attack Muyang Ling. I'll target. Is it Legendary Bird? Nice. We'll target that, and I think I just
You gain a life
can-
as well.
Yeah, I gain a
19.
life. Go to 19. I don't want you to be able to pressure. Normally, I say baffling end for Adanto, but we don't have to worry about that. So we'll just get rid of that. Your turn.
You're up.
All right, Muyang Ling. Gonna be doing
You're
some damage.
poo-pooing it. I'm at 21.
All right, Elemental Bird, your turn.
You're up.
All right, perfect draw. Perfect draw over there. Tick up.
I'm at 13.
Go. I got creatures on lock.
Yeah. I am dead.
You got swamps on lock.
Hey, so impressive showing from the Jeskai Super Friends deck.
Yeah,
You know,
deck's real.
Stupid birds.
Yeah.
Stupid birds.
So,
Those birds were these birds are actually the birds that are shown in the Hogak picture. It's actually a little Easter egg kind of thing. Yeah. All the birds swarming Hogak's head. It's actually Mooling's elemental birds. Yeah.
okay.
Let's get the fact checkers in there on that.
Yeah, so I'm sure someone in chat can check on that
Sure,
one.
someone in chat will tell me
Because
I'm
I
immediately
cannot.
wrong. And I was also making that up.
But despite this victory, I got 2 of them.
Yeah. There you go.
Send them back, please.
Get it. Give it.
I've never had the marbles for more than like 2 days,
no.
you know?
I do this all the time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I feel like any time I have the marbles and you really need to get them back, let's just incorporate some legacy.
This is where we do it on the side.
Yeah, all right. Good games. Well played. You know, you did crush me in Modern. I started off by winning game 1 and then just got obliterated. Just got, they were somewhat close. I had you on the ropes, but just couldn't deliver there. And then Standard, I do think this is a pretty good matchup. I also just think this deck is good. So I do, it has some polarizing matchups that are bad. But overall, it has a very good Vampires matchup, and I think that will be the most played deck this weekend.
Agreed.
So, I mean, that's not a bad place to be at, is having a great matchup, and I wouldn't say great, but have a good matchup against the number 1 deck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, it's a good matchup against the number 1 deck from a proven archetype. It's a deck that's had success in Standard before.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
The cards it's playing are good. It's not some weird, like, niche archetype that is going to get crushed by the rest of the field. You're going to have reasonable matchups against everything else. You might have some bad ones, might have some good ones, but when you start off, like you said, with a good matchup against what is going to be the most popular deck,
it's a good place to be.
Then that's going to forgive a lot of sins that you commit elsewhere.
Yep. Yeah, it's just basically thinking, is it okay to, versus like playing Vampires, I'm saying, is it okay to sacrifice some of these like slam dunk matchups that you have from Vampires to go to a deck that it might be harder matchups, maybe against like, I don't know, Esper Hero. I know you'll have to work for those wins. That can't be easy. They have Elder Spell. Nexus, where Vampires, I think, has quite a good matchup. You probably just get destroyed. You're not doing much against Nexus.
Yeah, you got Teferi and you really are relying on Teferi Sarkhan draws.
Yeah.
Because you need the Sarkhan to pressure them, you need the Teferi to disrupt them. The rest of your deck doesn't do a whole lot.
Yep. And Scape Shift, you're really relying on having a Teferi of your own in play so that you can stop the Teferi Scape Shift combo. Well, like Sarkhan to fly over, and that's kind of your only hope. But
same kind of thing. All these decks that are trying to go over the top of you, which is where we saw the format go when this deck first emerged.
Yep.
A lot of green decks that are going over the top.
Yeah.
So, that's what you have to be worried about, because you're just not great against those decks. You're trying to kill a bunch of creatures with your sweepers and your shocks, and then draw a bunch of cards, eventually overwhelm them with planeswalkers.
Yeah.
And there are decks that can go way over the top and just ignore that kind of game plan.
Yep. And I mean, I think that's just kind of where we're at with Standard right now. It's like every deck is kind of focused on something, but it's really hard for a deck to be focused on everything.
Yeah.
So like if Clarion and Shock is good, you got a great matchup, but if it's not, you got a lot of dead cards, you know? So.
Several months ago, we started in a fairly aggressive format with like mono red and different white weenie variances even before Vampires. And then we got this deck to emerge to sort of combat those. Then we saw the big green decks, normally with Command the Dreadhorde, and then some ramp decks like Ramp, Mass Manipulation, those to combat the mid-range decks. Now we've seen the format come back to a more aggressive bent to combat these decks that are going too big.
Yeah.
And so, we're in that spot where maybe it's time to be in that mid-range if the aggro decks suppress the top end of the metagame a little bit, and you get to feast on the Vampires and the mono reds of the world.
Exactly. No, I mean, I think you said it right. It's kind of coming full circle, and it's normally, like, I think like last weekend Vampires was at a great spot. It was a nice place to play that deck, but I think it's getting a little bit more scary now. Like every deck I look at, you see mono red coming back because it supposedly has a good Vampire matchup, chain whirling away your X1s. You're starting to see Jeskai Super Friends coming back, a deck that preys on Vampires. Like there's just a lot of people that have Vampires on their radar and they're going to attack it. I was bringing in my Vampires list 2 Ketras and just 4 Decrees, because just trying to, I know Vampire is going to be played, and everybody's going to be teching out for this matchup, so it's a little scary to play the deck right now.
Yeah, but it's definitely a powerful deck.
But it's definitely great. Yeah.
So how scared can you be when you get to play Sorin?
Yeah, when you go Sorin and down tick on Champion of Dust, you can be like, oh, nice hate cards. You're still dead.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, we got a little bit of time left, Dan. We got some questions over there we can field.
We do. So,
awesome.
I'm going to lump a couple of them together because they're asking about the viability of a couple standard decks. So Kai Samir is wondering about Temur Elementals, and Papa John's Napkins wondering about mono blue. He also mentioned mono red, but you guys just talked about it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Temur Elementals, I do not think is a viable deck, and the problem is it's in that mid-range spectrum, the where Jeskai Planeswalkers is, but it's a mid-range deck that isn't that interactive, and so it's really relying on going over the top of aggressive decks to beat them, and that is going to be a mid-range deck that has no chance at beating the green decks that are going way over the top.
Yep.
You
And
know,
plain, sorry to interrupt you, but plain and simple, like Scapeshift and Vampires both have great matchups against Teamer. That's just not where you can be in Standard right now. Yeah.
Vampires is also quite good against that plan of just spewing onto the battlefield and trying to block because of Sorin, either clearing away blockers or giving the creatures death touch. You got Knight is a great way to get through blockers, Adonto Vanguard. So, Vampires is pretty good against that kind of plan. So, very low on Teamer. Mono Blue is a deck I love.
Yeah, of course.
And I think it's in a spot that is reasonable. Like, it's not as bad against Vampires as it was against other aggressive decks.
Sure.
Vampires is a little bit bigger, a little bit slower, sometimes stumbles with its mana, way more than the old white aggressive decks and mono red will.
Yep.
So I think that is actually a coup to have the aggressive portion of the metagame consolidate around Vampires as opposed to the other ones. And I think you're pretty good against the decks that are going big. You're good against Bant Ramp. Deputy can be an issue, but a lot of their cards you can ignore.
But even from Banramp, like Teferi is a little scary, right?
Yeah, Teferi is scary. And then in Scapeshift, they have Teferis too. The real scary card is our Boreal Grazer, and we've seen some lists trimming down on that card.
Can you repeat that one more time?
Our Boreal Grazer, it has reach.
Yeah.
And it costs 1 mana.
People are trimming on a Boreal Grazer. Maybe it's time to sleeve up your curious obsessions.
There's some merit, I think, to Mono Blue. The issue is the deck's a little bit underpowered, actually, relative to the rest of the format.
Yeah.
Curious Obsession is still a really powerful card. Some of your creatures are a little bit underrated in how powerful they are.
Yeah.
But the format is just so tuned and so understood. All the decks are operating at their most efficient this late in the season, and Mono Blue really preys on having some decks that stumble a little bit, maybe don't have exactly the right build, so it just sort of gets progressively worse over the course of a metagame.
It's a great week one deck.
Yeah,
great. Yeah, I mean, I'll echo your statements. I think everything you said is exactly right. Like, I don't think Teamer Elementals in its current form just can be played at all. It's just every deck is just going over the top, like you said. And then as far as Mono Blue, at a much better position. But we look at I always look at Goldfish on what are the top 4 decks, and the top 3 out of 4 decks all have 4 Teferis, Time Revelers in their deck, and the 4th one is Vampires, and I think Vampires is good too against that deck. Like, if you ever just get Sorin and you put a counter on an Adonto Vanguard against Mono Blue, where now they have to think, should I start attacking Sorin or draw a card with Curious Obsession? Like, you're dead. You're dead. So
minimum 3 Spell Pierce if you're trying to play Mono Blue.
Yeah,
maybe
probably,
4.
Probably. Yeah.
Spell Pierce is not bad against Vampires too. You got their Sorin, you got their Legions landing early sometimes.
You get their early game cards. You get their early game Sorins. If you get to late game, Spell Pierce obviously has diminishing return. Plus, gets a lot worse.
Yeah, you trim on it in the matchup, but it's not like a dead card like it would be against some aggressive decks like Jund Dinosaurs.
Yep. I think for the tournaments this weekend, for the Arena MCQ and for SCG Richmond, as far as Standard goes, I think it's just not a tournament to be queued at. Not a tournament to be like, okay, I have this cool deck that I think is maybe well positioned right now. Like, I think Jeskai Walkers, like you said, is a defined deck that was proven to be good, and now it's just positioned pretty well. So I think something like that is fine. But otherwise, play Scapeshift, play Esper Hero, play Vampires, play this. Play the good decks at this. We're late in the season. The power level of these decks is proven. I don't think it's worth to risk your tournaments on some decks that maybe not as good. And trust me, I'm a Jund Dinos fan. That hurts me to say that I would never play Jund Dinos at this tournament this weekend.
Yeah, there you have it. We're a little over time now. Let's do some subs and then wrap up the show.
That's a shame, because Tyler Durden 803 was definitely asking, perfect time for Jund Dinos then, right, Corey? No.
The comet has hit the dinos. They are officially extinct. Rest in peace.
Yeah, I played 4-color elementals at an F&M last week. Ran into 2 mono-white aggro decks and 2 blue-white flyers. The budget version of this deck.
I've lost to that deck.
It's a great deck, but I'm just every time it's like, okay, here's my turn 3 Risen Reef right into Conclave Tribunal. I'm like, well, I'm pretty much...
it's a fun deck. It's a fun deck, but I don't think it's quite there.
It's just like a dream. So, subtime. We got Bird Magnus with a 7-month resub. Phoenix with a 7th-month resub.
That's good.
Is that a bot of yours, or?
Apparently I resubbed while at Twitch HQ, lol. Rest in peace, Todd. Tempest Prime 13 with a Prime sub. MOC Barashin with a 6-month resub. Well, hello there. And Senator SC2 with a 6-month resub. Thank you all so much
Nice.
for subbing.
5
Awesome.
subs. It's more than I got last night on my own channel.
We got some fans here. on
Yeah,
the
you got
SCG
some
tour.
good fans. Good fans.
Yeah, we got a Team Constructed Open in Richmond this weekend. Who's doing coverage for that one?
That would be Matthias, Emma, Brian, and Craig Krempels.
Ooh, the return
Cool.
of Craig Krempels.
Yes.
Always loved him in the booth, so that'll be a great show. If
He's
you cannot,
usually crimping our style, though.
if you cannot make it out to Richmond, and I encourage you all to do so if you can, make sure to check out all of the action starting Saturday at 10:30 local time. That's going to be Eastern time in Richmond, Virginia. But if you can, make it out. We'll both be there.
Come say hi.
It's a great town, good food, nice little walkable downtown area.
Yeah.
If you're an Edgar Allan Poe fan, the Edgar Allan Poe Museum is there.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so going to be a fun weekend. I've had a couple weeks off. I'm itching to get back on the
Me
road.
too. I'm so excited.
And this is a nice short drive.
I love
3
it.
hours and we're good. I love it.
Oh, yeah. I've never been able to drive 3 hours for a tournament, so this is great.
So I want to give Tannen one last word here. So he writes, Ross won Legacy and Modern and loses at Standard. Ross is playing, checks notes, Standard.
Yeah,
Let's go.
Yeah, I'm playing this deck just to beat you if we play, buddy.
Perfect. Both my teammates will win. We'll get the match slip.
Dang it. All right, everyone. I want to thank you so much for watching, and we will see you Tuesday for another Versus Live. Later.